In this video, we shall consider the regressive expectation model. Regressive expectation model of demand for money and portfolio balance approach. A bondholder has an expected return from the bond from two sources. So expected return from the bond is denoted by E. Now he has the expectation of getting return from investing in bond from two sources. The first is the rate of interest that he can earn by investing in the bond, and the second component is the capital gain. Now capital gain is basically the change, the rise in the price of bonds. So capital gain is the rise in the price of bond from the time he or she buys it to the time he or she sells it. So if there is an increase in the price of the bond, then the investor will have a capital gain. So the investor, when he is investing in bond, then he is having an expectation of getting return from that bond from two sources, the rate of interest and the capital gain. Now R is equal to Y by PB. What is the rate of interest? Rate of interest is the ratio between Y and PB. Now what is Y? Y is the yield from the bond. Now what is bond yield? Yield is a bond yield is stated as a fixed percentage on the price of bond. So suppose the price of bond is 100 rupees. Now yield is 5%. So that means R is 5 divided by 100. So this is PB and this is Y. So in that case R is equal to 5 by 100. So now in this case we can find out PB. Now what is PB? PB is equal to Y over R, Y divided by R. So we can write PB is equal to Y divided by R. Now what is his expectation of bond price in future? His expectation of bond price in future is PBE, which is equal to Y divided by RE, because yield, the bond yield from the bond is constant over time. So Y, there will be no change in Y, but there will be change in the rate of interest. So the expected rate of interest, expected future rate of interest is RE. So in that case, what is his capital gain? Capital gain is equal to PBE minus PB over PB. So from here we are getting Y divided by RE minus Y by R whole divided by Y by R. So from here we are getting 1 by RE minus 1 by r divided by 1 by r. So we can write into r. So from here we are writing r minus re divided by r into re into r. So then we are getting r minus re divided by re. So the capital gain is the difference between the present rate of interest minus the expected rate of interest divided by expected rate of interest. So this can be written as r by re minus 1. So this is the capital gain. So G is equal to r by re minus 1. Now what is E? E is the return from the bond. So E is the sum of R and G. So from here we can write this is equal to R plus R divided by RE minus 1. Now when expected return, the return on bond is equal to 0, then what is the value of R? R plus R by RE minus 1 is equal to 0. So if E is equal to 0, then this is equal to 0. So from here we can calculate the value of R. So R is equal to 1 plus 1 by RE is equal to 1. So R is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus 1 by RE. So from here we are getting RE divided by 1 plus RE. Now this rate of interest for which E is equal to 0 is called the critical rate of interest. So this is denoted by RC. So this is called critical rate of interest. Now since RE is different for different individuals, therefore this critical rate of interest is different for different individuals. So in that case, we can find out the individual demand for money. Now since we are considering the regressive expectation model of demand for money, so we have to understand what is regressive expectation. The theory is saying that if people have regressive expectation, therefore they expect that the rate of interest always corresponds to the long-term rate of interest. So R is suppose the long-term rate of interest. So according to the regressive expectation model, the expected rate of interest always corresponds to the long-term rate of interest. Now if the actual long-term rate of interest rises above the expected rate of interest, then people will expect this long-term rate of interest to fall in future. So therefore they have the regressive expectation about the rate of interest. Now here we are considering this RC is equal to 1 by 1 plus RE to find out the individual demand curve. So here along the x-axis we are taking the money holding, which is denoted by M by P, demand for money, M by P, and along the y-axis we are considering the rate of interest. Now suppose for a particular individual the value of RC is here. Now if the actual rate of interest is above this RC, that means the return from the bond, the expected return from the bond for that particular individual is greater than 0. So in that case, he will get a positive return by investing in the bond market. So then his or her money holding will be 0 and he will put all his or her wealth into bond. So in that case, the money holding will be 0. So for R above RC, for the levels of R above RC, the money holding of the individual is 0. Now when the rate of interest is RC, then E is equal to 0. So this is for R greater than RC. Now when R is equal to RC, then E is equal to 0. So return from the bond is 0. So in that case, the individual will be indifferent in holding money and bond. So then his money holding is represented by this horizontal line. So he is indifferent. He or she is indifferent between holding money and bond. Now when RC falls, the rate of interest falls below RC, when R is less than RC, then E is less than 0. In that case, if the investor invests in the bond market, then the individual gets the negative return from the bond. So then no rational individual will invest in the bond market. So then the individual will keep his or her entire wealth as money. So then if this is his or her total level of wealth, then the money holding, the total amount of money holding will be this much. So for rate of interest below RC, the individual will put his entire wealth into money. So this is the individual demand curve for money for the rational expectation model. So in the rational expectation model, we get a money demand function for a particular individual as a step function. So this is a step function. Now from here we can find out the aggregate demand for money in the regressive expectation model. Now we know that we have already discussed that RC will be different for different individuals. So suppose we have two values of RC, RC max and RC min. So the maximum RC and minimum RC. Now for individual whose RC is matching up with this RC max, what is his or her money holding? So this is suppose his or her level of wealth. Now at RC max, his or her money holding is the average of this wealth. So he or she is at this point, at the midpoint of this line, because he is indifferent between holding money and bond. So his average money holding is half of this length. Now for individual whose RC is RC1. So now RC1 is less than RC max. So for the individual whose RC is matching up with this RC1, for him the average money holding will be the half of this length, because this is the second individual's wealth and his money holding at RC1 is represented by this point, which is the midpoint of this straight line. And this way we can get the different values of money holding for different individuals with different critical rate of interest. And when we reach at RC min, then for the individual whose wealth is this much, for that individual the money holding, the average money holding is represented by the midpoint of this line. And now if we join all these midpoints of different bars, then we get the aggregate demand curve for money. So this is also a negatively sloped curve. So this is a smooth curve and this is a negatively sloped curve, and this shows that as rate of interest falls, the demand for money rises. But when we are considering the individual demand curve for money, then we are getting a step function. But when we are aggregating the individual demand for money, then in aggregate we are getting a smooth negatively sloped curve, of money demand function in the regressive expectation model.